So, what have we learnt about dyslexia then, VTubers? Because that little odious creature has gone out into the jungle to eat other little odious creatures, hasn't he? You know, that horrible little Matt Hancock cretin. Yes, that one that was in charge of the Department of Health during the pandemic the other year, under Dorisovsky. Yes, he was the one that was seen saying to everybody, well, he was on telly every blooming night, he was like the blooming test card, he was, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't talk to your neighbours over the fence, if you have a shower, you've got to wear a mask, you can't go swimming in the sea, and if you do, you've got to wear a mask, and if you have intimate relations, you've got to do it back to back wearing masks. That was him. Yes, so anyway, he got caught, somehow. He'd already been seen taking his mask off as he walked into Downing Street. The most supercilious, vacuous little personage you could ever hope to meet in your whole life. So there he was, caught by a hidden camera apparently, or a secret camera, or a CCTV camera, in your Houses of Parliament, snogging up a woman who wasn't his bleeding wife. His wife was at home with their 5 kids. Yes, and he was getting down and dirty with this old bint he was. I think she had vision problems, to be honest. We shouldn't really have a dig at her, really, because it's probably not her fault. I mean, she probably can't see. Do you know what I mean? So, there he was snogging her up, wasn't he? He was clawing and pawing at her backside. It looked like he was kneading bread, it did, VTubers. Yes, it did. Oh, it was really creepy, it was. It made me feel like all heebie-jeebies, it did. So, I don't know how those creepy callies feel in the jungle. It must be traumatising for them, having him in there. So, anyway, he's got himself in the jungle and they've paid him, well, just shy of £500,000 to get down into the jungle. So he's pissed off his constituency because he represents a constituency in West Suffolk. He does, yes. That incorporates the royal town of Newmarket, which was it was the actual mecca of the sport of kings, really, wasn't it? Yes, Newmarket. It was originally established under Charles II for the aristocracy and, well, the royalty to go there and bet on horses and horse racing and generally have a fun time. So he actually represents that town and its environs, yeah? And of course there's, like anywhere, there's sort of 1 or 2% of very, very rich people and the rest of them are piss poor, scrabbling around for a few crumbs, YouTubers. You know that one. So anyway, they're not happy. They're not happy because they're going to hell in a handcart. Obviously, they are, like the rest of Britain at the moment, can't afford to have the heating on. It's like here, it's bleeding freezing, I can't put the heating on. And, you know, we're all in the same boat, aren't we? Except for Matt Hancock. Matt Hancock is in the jungle. He's nice and warm, he is. Yes, he is. And he went in the jungle, VTubers, to highlight the stigma of dyslexia. And he hasn't mentioned it maybe once since he's been there. No, no, no. And he's assured everybody in the jungle that while he was a government minister, he didn't break any laws. He just, he broke his own guidelines. To be honest, if this was a few hundred years ago, he'd have been on the Tower of London, wouldn't he? Yes, he would have had his head on the bleeding pike, he would have done. What a treasonous little snake he is. But there you go. And we're all invited to believe that he is actually eating, kangaroo testes and, foo-foos that once belonged to sheep and one thing and another of the most despicable kind that you could ever begin to imagine. And to be honest, when they give it him and they said, oh, this is a camel's penis, I'm not being funny, I did think to myself, this isn't Matt's first rodeo, come on, you know. It's not the first time he's had a penis, is it? To be fair, VTubers, you just know it. You've only got to look at him. So, there you go. I mean, he was at a private school, so, say no more. And we're all invited to feel sorry for him, poor old Matt Hancock, because of something or other. I don't know why. He made a lot of bad decisions and sold a few hooky contracts to all his friends for millions and millions of pounds, made us all stay indoors on the hottest summer we've had since 1970 something dot. And all the time people were locked indoors, they were all up there having parties. Matt Hancock was seen, even though it was his guideline, walking into the houses of, it wasn't, it was Downing Street actually. He's walking into Downing Street, gurning for the cameras because he's a narcissist, obviously. They mainly are sociopaths. Narcissistic sort of rising on the sociopathic scale, do you get me? Or if not even a bleeding psychopath, to be quite fair. I mean, and as he's walked into Downing Street, he's just ripped his mask off, so there you go. I mean, how scary was it? Because to be quite fair, if anything was really happening, you wouldn't see hide nor hair of any of them lot, would you? You would never have done. It was just an emergence of, wow, it's the drug companies, big corporations, technocracies, and this, that, and the other. And the media, who liked to have the ratings because they knew everybody was indoors watching the telly all day. Though why anybody would want to watch that television in the corner of in your sitting room, I do not know. I mean, have you not all read Big Brother by George Orwell? I mean, it's watching you, you're watching it, watching you, telling you what to do. And there he is, taking his big mask off. And I mean, then it all came out, they were in there having parties, one thing and another. Then he was caught on a hidden camera snogging up some woman that wasn't actually his wife while his wife was at home with their kids. As I say, kneading her arse like it was bleeding, well, it was like a loaf of bread. I felt quite sorry, to be fair. I don't think she could see properly. So he should feel a little bit sorry for her. But he said, in his defence, that he was going into the jungle to make himself more personable, so people get to know the real him. Not being funny, I think we already know the real you, Mr. Matthew of Hancock. To be quite fair, do we or do we not? We just had a couple of years robbed off us. And a lot of us lost people due to the lockdown. People that didn't get the treatment they needed. And by the time they don't, well, even now you can't get a doctor, but even then, well, they didn't get the treatment they needed. Cancer patients were denied treatment. There was children on the at-risk register that were locked up and incarcerated for months and months and months, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, months and months and months on end, denied the right to go to school, where other people could have actually seen them and been able to monitor how well they are and at least have some time away from their potential abusers. And they were locked up with them, and some of them lost their lives. But hey, let's all get on board and feel sorry for Matthew Hancock in the jungle eating a kangaroo penis. To be fair, I feel sorry for the kangaroo who lost his penis to Matt Hancock, but there you go, whatever. And it's a bit like Michael Jackson. I mean, whatever you think of Michael Jackson, he did once say, the thing about show business is all razzle-dazzle. It's all smoke and mirrors. And what they're treating us to now is what the Romans used to call bread and circuses. Yes. So we've got the vision of Matthew Hancock in the jungle as a bit of bread and circus. And to be quite fair, unless I see him in an arena being eaten by a load of lions, I'm not really interested in anything he's got to say. I mean, how that thing can even show his face in public, I'll never know. And the other people in the jungle that are all going along with the pretense that they're eating crocodile penises and kangaroo foo-foos or whatever it is they're eating, do you really think they're going to be eating stuff like that? I don't think there's an insurance company alive that would insure people to eat that sort of crap. I mean, it's just the suggestion that they are. We're all supposed to sit there and hide behind our cushion and go, oh no, and he eats it and he's crunching on the testicle, oh no, and now he's rehabilitated himself in the public domain, hasn't he, VTubers, apparently. I mean, how vacant do we all have to be by that crap? Mind you, the lockdown didn't mean anything to me, as I've already said. Working class people just had to work through it, you know, bogs still needs to be cleaned. It's very sad, and I still feel very sorry for all the kids that weren't saved because of that monster. But there you go. That's what an empty little world we are. Perhaps really it was the pandemic that was the actual reality show. Yes. Yeah, we're all living in a metaverse or something or other. I don't know. It's too heartbreaking for words really. I don't know where standards have gone to. Really, he should have been sacked. He shouldn't be allowed in public life. You think of that John Perfumo over the Mickey Mouse John Perfumo affair back in the day when they had the Cold War going on. They had a couple of good time girls, didn't they, going around some place, Lord Astor's home. I can't think what the name was. I usually know, but my brain's dead. And John Perfumo was caught bubbled up because one of them was doing him and the other good time girl was doing some Russian bloke. And it was the Cold War, and the thing was, were they selling, well, was John Perfumo saying stuff to his bit of fluff, who was then telling her mate, who was telling the Russian guy. So he had to retire from public life, and he spent the rest of his life working on philanthropic things that he never got paid for, basically. Helping the homeless, mentally handicapped, anything really, anything other than being in the public life. In fact, you could say, if you were religious, that he spent the rest of his life paying penance for whatever it was he was accused of doing, which whether he did or didn't do, far exceeded what he was originally accused of. I mean, when did he die? He was about 75, so, you know. And yet that thing we've all got to feel sorry for and just applaud the fact he's getting nearly £500,000 on the back of dead children, basically, the way I see it, VTubers. But anyway, hey ho, happy days. Maybe there are better days ahead. There may be troubles ahead. But there's always moonlight and music and love and romance. And a kangaroo penis to eat as well if you're Matt Hancock. Anyway, Voodoo viewers, I better go. If you could like and subscribe, helps the logarithms and it gladdens my heart, Voodoo viewers. Feeling a bit down today because I'm still waiting for that Hancock prick to mention dyslexia. Bye. Bye-bye.